motivated to reach the sky. Oh, I'm not gonna let my dreams die. You know I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Not gonna let my dreams die. Nah, 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 nah.
Hello, beautiful people. My name is Catherine Gomez, and welcome to The Creative Buzz, where we showcase the amazing work of Bahamian creatives. From music videos to vlogs, we want your work to be seen by the entire Bahamas. Now, I hope everybody had an amazing Christmas. I hope the holidays brought you so much joy. And as 2020 is about to wave us goodbye, I think it's important we reflect on what 2020 brought us. I know it brought us a lot of bad, but it also brought a lot of positives. So I want to speak to some of my fellow creatives, finding out what is the biggest lesson you've learned in 2020.
I'd say the biggest lesson that I've learned from 2020 is that while you can't control the future, you can control your outlook on the present. And that is to say that if you'd asked me at the start of this year where I thought this year was going to go, where my vision for this year was, I'm almost 100% sure that my answer for that would have been nowhere close to anything that transpired throughout this year, especially with quarantine. I never thought that I personally, experienced a virus or any type of pandemic-like situation that would as harshly affect our daily lives as this particular one did. And I say all of that to say the initial reaction to it was, oh, this sucks. I can't do all of the things that I used to do, especially social wise. When you think of all of the social events that it disrupted and all of the family gatherings and what's not, it disrupted, and it really creates this somber kind of outlook on it. And I found out throughout this whole year's process that it's really important to ensure that you keep a positive outlook on life. And the way I tried to do that was I saw this time at home as a time to work on myself introspectively, and also to work on some of the things that I didn't really have time to work on when I had to be on the go, such as my poetry and the books and the writing. And so it's really, really just important to make sure that you keep your outlook on life positive regardless of what life tries to throw at you.
So the question today is, what has 2020 taught me? Well, for me, 2020 was a rough year, just like most of the world. But 2020 has taught me that I need to rebuild. It was a year that I did a lot of self-discovery, and I did a lot of self-focus, where I focused on who I was as a person, how I can build myself, how I can even build my own business, and how I can, launch it and, do all sorts of creative things. And I think that's the most important thing we could get from this year, 2020. 2020 was a year of refocus, a year of rebuilding. Even though COVID-19 put the world on hold, even though COVID-19, caused or forced, I should say, the flow of money to stop, it was a year for us to do an introspect on our lives and for us to actually focus on who we are and what is next to come. How can we plan for the future? And I think that once we would have taken those key things out of 2020, we would see that this year would have been one of the best years we've had. So I just want to say to anyone out there that may be feeling depressed, may be feeling that, this has been the worst year possible. Yes, it may have been for you, but in everything, I want you to look at the positivity in it. Don't just focus on the negativity, focus on positivity, and look at it as a year for you to rebuild, reconnect. A year of the re's, I called it, where you rebuild, reconnect, refocus, and plan for what is to come. So 2020 was still that year to rebuild.
So I think one of the biggest lessons that I've learned from 2020 and that everybody can learn from 2020 is that when you lose things, it doesn't really compare to what God can or what God is going to give back to you. I've lost relationships with some of my family members, like my father and my grandmother, and even though I've lost those relationships, I really still do believe that God is a restorer, and He will restore those relationships, or even if it isn't restored, it'll become restored in some other aspect. of course, a lot of persons have also lost family members to the COVID or to other illnesses or traffic fatalities. But I just really want to encourage you to kind of really continue to keep on to hold on to the faith. When you're about to reach that next level inside your life, a lot of adversities are going to come your way. You're going to start losing people. You're going to start losing things. Even, earlier this month, my company, Unseen Media, my partner, she got robbed, and that cost about thousands of dollars in equipment from us. So even though we've lost those things, we're staying determined, we're holding on to our faith, and we do believe, and I know that God will restore those things back to us one way or another. So I just want to encourage everyone who may be going through a difficult time now, hold on to your faith and don't abandon it. And just be assured that God will bless you in the end.
Good day, Bahamas. My name is Lauren Daxon. The biggest lesson I've learned in 2020 is that due to the unexpected pandemic and the imminent changes it brought to the world around us, one must be able to adjust quickly, adapt to changes within their environment, and also one must be able to be flexible. In being flexible, one must know that things will not always go how they may planned, and they must trust in God more. The Word of God states in Proverbs 3 verse 4 to 6 that trust in the Lord with all your heart, lean not to your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge Him, and He will direct your paths.
So I would say the biggest lesson that 2020 taught me is that you have to be rooted, you have to be anchored in something. Like going through this pandemic, it has taught me that your life has to be rooted in things that are eternal and not things that are just temporary. And the only thing that is eternal and that will last forever is Jesus Christ. And so through this pandemic, it has taught me that if you are rooted in temporary things that will pass away, you're going to get depressed. You're going to just feel you're not going to feel like yourself because you were feeding yourself with temporary things that will pass away. But you are supposed to be anchored. When you're anchored in Jesus Christ, you feel fulfilled, you feel hope, you feel joy, and there's just this everlasting peace. There's just this comfort, there's this peace, there's this joy, and you don't have to. A lot of people try to fill that with food, working out, partying, drinking, smoking, new age stuff, all type of things. But I'm telling you guys that I knew this, but when everything closes down, when all the shops close down, when you can't meet up with your friends, when you can't meet up with your friends to go on a date, when you can't meet up with your boyfriend, when you can't do this, when you can't do that, when you can't touch people, when you can't socialize, when you have to stay in your house, when you're locked down. I know it's hard, but guess what? The thing that will pull you through is Jesus Christ.
Hello everyone! The greatest lesson that my family and I have learned in 2020 is, Baja, what do you have to say?
Well, I feel like a lot of people have been struggling with how their plans have been distorted in their lives and how they don't know what to do anymore. And I think this is a chance where God wants to be like, put your life into my hands and let me take full control because I know what's best for you. So therefore, God's plan is greater than our own.
Oh, yeah. Thank you, Baja. Yeah. Okay, who else? August, what have you learned, your greatest lesson?
Press on.
Yes, definitely. We have to press on. And Papa, what about you? What was your greatest lesson for 2020 that you would like to share with everyone? Papa.
God is still on the throne.
Yes. Indeed, He still is on the throne. And on Jem, what about you? What was the greatest lesson from 2020?
It's been a rough year. One thing I've learned that life is tough, but God is good.
Amen.
Amen.
Oh, wow. Boy, my family's a wise family, boy. Yeah. So, in the end, we all want to say 1, 2, 3. Merry Christmas from our hearts to yours.
Happy birthday, Jesus.
Happy birthday, Jesus.
Happy
Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday, Jesus. Happy birthday, yeah, yeah. Woo! Happy birthday, Jesus!
I think the biggest lesson I've learned in 2020 is to put my spiritual, mental, emotional, and physical health first. I don't know about y'all, but before the pandemic, I was so busy with so many things that, my physical, mental, emotional, all those components, they were suffering. So I think this pandemic really slowed me down where I was like, you know what? I need to really spend more time with God. I really need to put Him first. I was like, I need to put my health first, because with all the busyness, I was getting stressed, so overwhelmed, and I just would have periods where I was just burnt out. And this pandemic really allowed me to just have time for myself, to really refocus myself, to understand that, yeah, the things you love doing, they're good. Your job is good. Your hobbies are good, but at the same time, you have to remember the reason you were put on this earth, and you have to also make sure that you're in check. Because at the end of the day, hobbies and stuff, they aren't as important as you. Because if you weren't alive, you wouldn't be able to do these things in the first place. So I think that's the most important lesson I've learned in 2020. And I just pray that, if you were going through the same thing, that in 2021, we will continue to make time for ourselves. We will continue to put ourselves first, because that's the most important thing in life. Next up, let's tune into YouTuber Ransford James. His upbeat, comical personality has attracted thousands of viewers all over the world. In his video, he will tell us things he doesn't want to hear this new year. Get some popcorn and a drink, and let's tune in.
2020 won the battle, but 2021 will win the war. You get it? Because 2021 like victory and 2021 like the number. It's good content. Wait. My name is Ransford James, and instead of motivating you with New Year's motivational quotes, we could do things a little bit differently. We about to go over the 5 things that I don't want to hear, but I probably will anyway this new year. Alright, now here's an oldie but a goodie. New year, new me. Big man, that's the same beat up Honda, the same beat up off-white Nikes that Virgil don't make. And that's the same girl with the same beat up anyway. I think you get where I'm going with this, right? More time than not, I sign into these narcissist traps for apps like IG and Twitter, and it's all the same thing. It's like y'all is get these quotes from Tumblr, then copy and paste them to Twitter, and then screenshot them and put them up on IG. And by the time they get to IG, I could barely even understand text, because it's so pixelated from the screenshot that you take on your bubbler Samsung. Oh, yeah, I can't even diss Samsungs right now. But back to my point. Baby girl, if you 35 with 5 children from 5 different boys on the same block from Yamacraw, I don't think nothing but the ball dropping in Times Square. Actually, yeah, we can't even do that because of COVID. But now do it with me. Go to your phone, open up your social media, open up your drafts, find the little motivational quote that you was about to put out on the first. Long press that and delete it. Please. Next one on the list, right? And this one has pissed me off. So if any of y'all yellow draw miscreants won't pop up in my job and run on with this one, expect to get blocked and delete immediately. Boy, I ain't see you from last year. And you ain't gonna see me till 2025 if you come in my chat with this one, Uncle Martin. I telling you right now, don't come tagging me in your boomer humor on Facebook. Tag your ma, don't tag me. We get it, The arbitrary calendar that we use to track days has finally run out of days in 2020. But that don't mean that you need to run out with your stale jokes. I don't have no business calling anybody else stale, But anyway, please come with some new material in 2021, because these dad jokes ain't cutting it. Next one on the list, and this is actually one of my favorites. Most of y'all getting left in insert year here. So in this case, it'll be most of y'all getting left in 2020. These the same fake G's on IGs that is post a picture of Henny and Kron in a red solo cup, and all you can see in the background is they dirty shoes. That's the same set that is be posting these quotes right here. Meanwhile, this the same boy that could be posted up on their porch, smoking beanie with the same boy that ain't paid them the $20 a day owe him since 2015. That's y'all. Please, tell me what you leaving in 2020. Your common sense? Cause obviously, it ain't the boy that you posted on your status when you can't even post your girl. If you could cut off someone, please don't come announcing it on your status and on your close friend story on IG. We tired. Signed management. Y'all the same set. There's one signal when y'all about to change numbers on WhatsApp. I never change it, you know. But y'all still wouldn't signal when y'all changing lanes on JFK and y'all running people off the road, you know. I a little sore about that one. Sorry, y'all didn't deserve that. So if I see one of these big man, block and delete like alkaline, cold, no signal, no nothing. And last but not least, New Year body loading. These girls must be on Windows 95. Because this body been loading since 95. I trying to figure out how you buy a membership to the gym. Ain't going to the gym. And then buy a conch snack from Bamboo. Actually, no, Bamboo been out of conch for a little while. Gandhi, what's going on? I know how you expect to get a different body from doing the exact same thing you was doing in 2020 and the years prior. Buying a gym membership, tights from Lululemon, and downloading the latest Private Ryan Soca mix will not give you a body like Kim K. Only surgery could do that. If you want change in 2021, you need to be the change. I can't even say that with a straight face. But no, seriously, successful people are successful regardless of the year. Whatever changes you want to make, don't wait till the new year. Make it now, right now, while you're watching this video. Except for changing the channel, don't do that. But understand that 2020 was torture. And honestly, you're fortunate if you even watching this. Not because like you watching me, but because you watching TV. Between COVID-19, crime, poverty, and all kind of other causes of casualties, we lost a lot of people this year. And I ain't talking about the Black Mamba or Chadwick Boseman. I talking about people right here on the same little island. So be easy on yourself when you setting your goals for next year. Because you might lose sight of the ultimate goal. You know, staying alive. My name is Ransford James. This is Foreign Man in Foreign Land. Y'all take that.
Hi guys, my name is Reagan. I'm 20 years old and I was once a drinker. I wasn't an alcoholic, if you think that. It was just more of a casual drinking that I used to engage myself in. But currently I am not drinking anything and I feel freer, I feel better, I feel way more in control of me as a person, especially around my friends and especially around other people. I started drinking from when I was 17 years old. I drank around my friends, sometimes family members, and it was casual, it was nice, it was just something you just did with a group of people. And it took me until I came into the UK for college to realize that this is a whole other game. This isn't something to play with, this isn't something to mess with. I thought that me being in a drunken state in a whole other country without really close people around me, no family, no friends, was not the most smartest move to go with. So as I continued my education, I decided to move forward and enjoy like my time with my friends without the drinking, enjoy my time at parties without the drinking, and see if I actually like the atmosphere or not. Turns out I didn't really enjoy it without the drink, so that made me figure out that maybe this isn't the atmosphere that I was meant to be, is if I can't enjoy myself in my sober state, so why should I enjoy myself? Why can't I enjoy myself in my own space? So, being me, I decided, hey, I'm just not gonna drink anymore. And from October 2019 to now, I haven't drunken anything. I have been completely sober for the last few months, and I'm enjoying it, and I'm happy because I have people in my life who support me, people in my life who guided me through it, stuck by me. Even if they do it, they are very considerate. They're not pressuring me to do it, and I feel like I feel way more free. I feel better in my Christian walk. I feel better with my life decisions. I feel better with how I see people and how Christ sees me. So I'm happy to went a whole full year without drinking. I'm happy to continue this journey without it, and I encourage many people to leave that habit and just see things in a different perspective with held a cup in your hand and just think about it as bringing yourself closer to Christ.
Y'all know Lost Up? That's exactly what I was before I knew Jesus. I was journeying through life without a navigator, no true sense of direction. I knew of love but didn't really know true love. I would sometimes look for love in other people, and the love I was receiving wasn't even the right kind of love. I was selfish with my time and resources. I remembered if somebody would ask me for anything without hesitation, it was a no. You know, I always knew of Jesus, but he wasn't a part of me. But then I became a Christian, and I was no longer separated from him. I was so elated and emotional when it happened. Whew. The best decision I made in life. I took those steps, and Jesus now became a part of me. Was I all good now, though? Nope. More work was required. I realized that I struggled with those things, along with so many other things like forgiveness. But the great thing about that is, I had the opportunity to be better every day, and not by myself. I was in Jesus Christ. My relationship with him grew. My dependency on him grew, and is still growing. I'm aware of what true love is in Christ, and I try to emulate it. I have a true sense of purpose of my life. I have a sense of direction. I'm now very much interested in the things of God. This is not an easy journey, but this is a journey that I don't intend to give up on, and I hope you don't either. And if you haven't started it as yet, I suggest that you do.
So, once upon a time, I was in a very toxic friendship, and essentially this person just took advantage of me at every single opportunity that they could find. They took advantage of the kind nature of myself. And it was a struggle for me because I had created such a bond with this person that I didn't want to just let them go. Long story short, we're not friends anymore the way that we used to be. But that situation taught me so many things. I've definitely grown and matured from that situation with that person. And I was able to learn how to set healthy boundaries in friendships and relationships of any kind. That could be with your family, that could be with friends, that could be with a potential partner. In addition to that, I also learned how to clearly state expectations and realize that if those expectations are not met, then remove yourself. Like, if it's not working, remove yourself. And I also, which was the hardest part, learned that there are just some things that I cannot control, and that I have to just let go and let God. And that came through a very long process, and I'm grateful for the lessons that I've learned during that time period.
When I think of my life before Christ, I realized that I was a very angry person. Angry might be putting it lightly. Hateful is probably a better word for it. Hateful, envious, jealous, a liar, a thief, anxious, always anxious, trying to force things to go my way, no matter how much they would go the opposite direction. After meeting Christ, I think that was yes, I can say that was the turning point in my life. Given a lot of things I'd been through, how I came to be so angry, the point where Christ turned me around is I realized that there is something better than what I'm feeling, better than whatever I'm going through, and it makes sense. It makes sense. It gave me hope. It gave me hope and a peace that at the time I did not even know was possible. Since meeting Christ, it's been quite the journey. Recovering from sickness and trying to stay on the right path, because there are times when I've fallen back into bad habits. But my greatest source of comfort is knowing that He will never forsake us. that he will always be helping us. He'll always be fighting our battles for us, and all we have to do is obey and trust him. That has to be the greatest revelation that I have ever had in my life.
Growing through what you go through. You could grow emotionally, spiritually, physically, mentally. And for me, going through what you go through, in my case, I grew spiritually. I cause this time and this pandemic and all that help you to refocus your sights on the Lord and what He's done for you this past time. You could have a job, didn't have to lose it, and you could have life, the obvious one. You have life that you could be thankful for. Because a lot of people didn't make it through or are not going to make it through, but you have life and you're still living. So growing spiritually in my case is a big thing, and I've grew during this pandemic and continue to do it each and every day. Even though, as you guys know, I'm a preacher's kid, doesn't mean I'm strong as I should be. So I'm slowly getting stronger each and every day, and being able to help others is another thing you can grow, help with relationships, get stronger in that. So growing through what you go through and this pandemic has shed a good light on what needs to be done.
"21-year-old Devanya Adderley grew up singing in church, and now she is chasing her dream of being a singer. For her, music is a form of therapy, self-expression, and livelihood, and her main goal is to touch people with her songs from the heart. Here's her beautiful rendition of Someday at Christmas.
Someday at Christmas, men won't be boys, playing with balls like kids play with toys. One warm December, our hearts will see a world where men are free. Someday at Christmas, there'll be no war when we have learned what Christmas is for. When we have found what life's really worth, then there'll be peace on earth. Someday all our dreams will come to be. Someday in a world where men are free. Maybe not in time for you and me, but someday at Christmas time. Someday at Christmas, there'll be no war when we have found what Christmas is for. When we have learned what life's really worth, then there'll be peace on earth. Someday at Christmas, there'll be no war when we have learned what Christmas is for. When we have found what life's really worth, then there'll be peace on earth. Someday at Christmas time.
Thanks so much for watching this week's episode of The Creative Buzz. If you would like to be featured on the show, you can message me at Island Imperfection on my Instagram. Thanks so much again for tuning in, and I hope you will continue to let your light shine so bright. I can't wait to see you in 2021.